Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Iconic English. We are starting with the explanation of chapter 7 class 9, The Last Leaf, that is written by O. Henry. Let's know some facts about O. Henry. He was born on 11 September 1862 in Greensboro, North Carolina, United States. He died on 5th June 1910, New York, United States, and his full name was William Sidney Porter. His famous short stories are The Gift of Magi, The Ransom of Red Chief, The Duplicity of Hargreaves. Now let's come to the elements of this prose. So what are the elements of prose? Setting, characters, plot, mood and tone. Introduction. It is autumn. The wind is blowing hard and it is raining heavily. All the leaves on an ivy creeper have fallen except one. Why doesn't the last leaf fall? So this is basically the first extract from the chapter. Now let's know about the value points of this. There are two girls, Sue and Johnsy, lived together in a small flat. They were artists. The flat was on the third floor of an old house. In the month of November, Johnsy was struck by pneumonia. She remained in bed and would look out of the window. Sue was worried and called the doctor. The doctor visited them daily, but there was no improvement in Johnsy's health. So, the doctor said that it seemed that Johnsy had decided not to live and did not want to recover from the illness. In such a case, medicines would not work on her, and Sue tried to liven up Johnsy. She discussed interesting things like clothes, fashion. Sue sat beside her and started painting in order to take her mind off her illness. Sue would whistle at times to brighten up Johnsy. Now there is another extract. Let's see its value points. Now Sue heard that Johnsy was speaking softly, and Johnsy was making a backward counting while looking out of the window. Now what she was looking about? Sue was curious and looked outside. She saw an ivy creeper plant beside the window of the room. As strong winds were blowing, the leaves of the creeper were falling. Johnsy said that the leaves were falling faster. She added that 3 days ago there were a lot of leaves on the ivy creeper, almost 100, but now only 5 were left. So, Sue replied that it was autumn season and it was natural for the creeper to shed its leaf. Johnsy said that she would die when the last leaf fell. She added that she had known this for the last 3 days. Sue replied that this did not make any sense. The leaves had nothing to do with her health. The doctor was sure that she would recover. Johnsy remained quiet. Sue got a bowl of soup for Johnsy. Johnsy did not accept the soup. Then she said that 4 leaves were remaining on the ivy plant. She wanted to see the last leaf fall before the sunset, and then she could die peacefully. Sue tried to show affection towards Johnsy. She said that Johnsy would not die. She kept the curtain open because she needed the light to complete the painting. She would sell it to fetch money for them. Sue requested Johnsy not to look out of the window. Then Johnsy agreed and asked Sue to finish the painting. She was tired of waiting to see the leaves fall. She wanted to die and was tired just like the poor tired ivy leaves. Sue asked her to try to get some sleep. As she had to paint an old miner, she would call upon their neighbor Bearman to be model for her. Bearman was a 60-year-old painter and aspired to paint a masterpiece. Sue discussed Johnsy's condition with him. She said that Johnsy was sure that she would die when the last leaf fell off the ivy plant. Now, Bearman commented that Johnsy was being silly. Sue said that Johnsy was suffering from high fever. She was not eating too. Sue was worried about her. Bearman wanted to see Johnsy. They entered the room quietly. Johnsy was asleep. Sue drew the curtains and they went to adjoining room. Sue looked out of the window. There was only one leaf left on the creeper plant. There was heavy rain accompanied by strong cold winds. The leaf was due to fall any moment. Bearman did not say anything and went back to his room. The next morning, Johnsy woke up and in a weak voice asked Johnsy to open the curtains. She was worried and hesitantly drew them back. She was glad that she announced that there was still one leaf on the creeper. It appeared green and healthy. It hadn't fallen despite the storm. Johnsy said that she heard the winds the previous night. She had thought that the last leaf would definitely fall. She added that it would fall that day for sure and then she would die too. Sue said that Johnsy would not die and had to live for her friends. She added that she would become lonely if Johnsy died. Johnsy smiled and closed her eyes. She was weak. After almost every hour, she would look out if the leaf was still there or not. It seemed that the leaf was stuck to the creeper. There was another storm that evening, but the leaf did not fall. Johnsy kept on looking at it and she called to Sue. Johnsy said that she had been a bad girl. The last leaf had made her realize her mistake. She said that desire to die was a wrong one. She was glad to see the change in Johnsy. She got soup for her, gave her a mirror to tidy her hair. Johnsy was happy and bright. The doctor visited that afternoon and said that the desire to live was back in Johnsy. He was sure that she would recover. He went downstairs to check Bearman, who was suffering from pneumonia, and there was no hope that he would recover. The next morning, Sue sat beside Johnsy and told her that Bearman died that morning. He had been ill for last 2 days. The caretaker of the building had found him in his bed. His clothes and shoes were wet and he was shivering. He had gone out at night during that storm. A ladder and the lantern were lying near his bed. Paintbrushes, green and yellow color paint, were also lying nearby. Sue asked Johnsy to look at the leaf. It did not flutter when the wind blew. It was the masterpiece that Bearman aspired to paint. When the last leaf fell at night, he painted this one. So this story is about Sue, Johnsy and Mr. Bearman. Sue Johnsy live in an apartment in Greenwich Village, a favorite place for aspiring painters to live at. Sue and Johnsy had met at a restaurant and became soulmate friends. Now let's talk about the mood and tone of this chapter. In the early part of the story, it remains associated with the Johnsy's ailment and depression, while later on it conveys the message of courage, hope and optimism. The last leaf saves Johnsy's life and fulfills Bearman's lifelong dream to paint a masterpiece. However, it also turns out to be his last masterpiece too. So, these are the characters, and I have an assignment for you also. You have to answer these questions in 30 to 40 words. There are 4 questions. Just write out yourself. What is Johnsy's illness? What can cure her? The medicine or the willingness to live? Do you think the feeling of depression Johnsy has is common among the teenagers? Bearman has a dream. What is it? Does it come true? What is Bearman's masterpiece? What makes you so? So these were the questions. You should attempt, try, as these are important ones. Now I'll see you in the next class. Bye bye.